This is Showtime Sean Porter.
This is Aaron Pryor.
Hey everyone, this is Jesse Vargas.
And you're watching True School Sports.
You're watching True School Sports.
And you're watching True School Sports.
Stay tuned.
26 pounder, we ready. Man, C1. Yeah. Tell them, I want you to tell them we ready.
Who ready?
All you goddamn coaches in the gym, get y'all shit together. This 126 pounder, this the realest 126 pounder you ever gonna find. And guess what? We gonna beat your motherfucking ass. Believe that.
Hey, y'all heard him. Believe that. Let's go, champ.
When we talk about the South Florida boxing scene, there's just so many people that make it a special place, from the fighters to the coaches. But one coach in particular that's really left his stamp on the South Florida boxing scene is Coach Ian Ford. This is a guy that's given a lot of his time down at the North Miami PAL, and that place has produced so many fantastic talents. Guys like Dominique Trap Francis, who's now a professional making waves. Marcel Barlatier, who's a professional making waves in the pros. These are great young fighters who had their seeds early in the career planted by Coach Ian Ford. And Coach Ian Ford's been around the game for a long time. He was a professional fighter in his day. He was a sparring partner for Aaron Pryor. He did box. He nearly made the 1984 USA Olympic team and was in the trials for that. So a talented fighter in his day, a man that's really given a lot of his time, his energy, his sweat, his blood and tears to the sport. And I want you guys to know who he is. So enjoy the interview that he had with my pops. Here it is.
Good afternoon. This is the Untouchable True School Sports with Coach Ford here in Miami. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself and tell you some of the issues that he's dealt with throughout boxing. And let's get it going. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, sir.
Well, this is Ian Ford out of Miami Boxing, Mickey Boxing Gym. I'm over here right now, establishing with these kids. I have some top fighters I'm working with, like Marcel, who is 6-0 with 5 knockouts. Kid been with me from he was 7 years old. He's 20 years old right now, and things is going good for me and him. I want to thank Henry Barter Boxing for managing him and promoting him and trying to get things going for him right now. We're doing good. We started working with a lot of kids we've been in North Miami Boxing Gym. We had a whole bunch of youth guys who came out of our camp, was national champion. Just gonna give you a couple names like Dominique Francis, Marcel Barlatier, Kevon Neely, Joaquin Neely, Juan Lopez, Matthew Lopez, Robert Lopez, many more, Omar Guzman, Wilson. We had a lot of good talent fighters, and we hoping right now that all these guys can make it in life, and do the right thing. We got guys like Chris, right now, who's fighting professional with me, is 2-0, trying to get him to another good level right now. We got Juan A. Reed, who is a fighter right now. We're trying to get him going in the pros, and we try to do things, Boxing is what I like. And I love when kids come in and show their talent, not in trouble, not in the street doing robbery. They obeying their parents, they come in and they learn from me because I have a lot of experience. I got like 268 amateur fights. I fight professional. I've been to the 1984 Olympic trials. I was there in Colorado Springs. I've been doing a lot of good things, for kids. I trained with a lot of world champions. I trained with Bojack, world champion. I trained with Kit Gavilan, world champion. I trained with Louis Rodriguez, world champion. I was Aaron Pryor's sparring partner with Aaron Pryor, Ford, Alexis Arguello, and them guys there. I was always a talent boxer come out of Miami, was signed with Angelo Dundee on the beach. I had a lot of good work with a lot of good fighters coming up. The street was a challenge for me. I got caught up a little bit in the street game and took me away from boxing, which, it was a bad experience for me. But now I'm teaching other kids how not to go the road I went through. By doing the right thing. So, like I said, this kid I have right now, Marcel Barlatier, This kid here is going to go a long way. He remind me of Sugar Ray Leonard. Remind me of Tommy Hearns. He remind me of Pernell Whitaker.
Wow.
He have a lot of good talents, have a lot of good heart, and I know this kid is going to be able to be champion of the world. Maybe about another year and a half, 2 years max. I know this kid will be champion at 122 pounder. There's no one's going to stop this kid right now. This kid is unstoppable.
And what's his name again?
Marcel Barlatier.
Okay. Okay.
You know, so I want a lot of people to look out for this guy right here, and I want y'all to check it out, man. It's gonna be a good thing coming out of Miami. We got a lot of other good talent, and we over here at Mickey Demas Boxing Gym where we breeding a lot of good talent fighters. We have coaches over here, some of the best coaches on this side, like Ian Ford, myself.
Wow.
We have Carlos Alberni.
Okay.
We have a lot of good guys over here, you know, who is going to do their thing and help out these kids. So
there's one thing that tell me through the experience of all the years in boxing. What have you seen the most change in boxing since you first started out, as far as boxers being faithful to their coaches, faithful to their trainers, faithful to their promoters? I mean, that's one of the things that we talked about, and that's one of the things that you wanted to voice about. And while we're talking about it, Mike Tyson's big on that too. Like he's trying to get boxers not to have promoters, none of that crap, so they can do what they want to do, what they want to be faithful to.
Well, in this boxing game, if you really try to go somewhere in life in this boxing game, the number one key is you have to be faithful to yourself. You have to be faithful to your trainer. You have to be faithful to your whole team that is working with you. You know, you can call on your team. If you have any problem, you call on your team, you talk to your team, and we sit down and we work things out. If you want to be a good boxer, man, like I say, you have to stick with your camp. Right. You cannot just walk away from your camp and say, okay, I'm going over to this other camp.
Right.
Never be a follower. I want you to be a leader, not a follower, you know?
Right.
Be a leader.
Right.
And if you stick with your true trainer, you shall go a lot of places in life. And a lot of kids train with me and they changed and went to other trainers, but guess what? I'm not mad at them kids. I still love them because they my kids still.
Right.
You understand? I just want to see they do the right thing and make it in life. But only thing I want them to do, never forget where you come from.
Right.
Never forget where you come from in boxing. Whoever starts you in boxing, give him a little bit of credit. Because if it wasn't for that man starting you and showing you the road of boxing, you would never make it the far as you is right now. You never make it that far in boxing. So always never forget to give your first trainer that credit.
Can you name some of these fighters that you can bring it to light if you feel like it, that you actually planted, so to speak, the seed for them to be somebody and they're no longer with you, but they're doing good because of your seed?
You know, like I say, I don't really get into no he-say stuff, but I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of fighters out there right now that I know truly can make it in boxing, can make it to the top.
Right.
Only thing they got to do is be faithful, like I say, to the trainer who they with now. You got guys like Dominique Francis. You got guys like Perez. You got guys like Marcel Barlatier.
Okay.
You got a lot of good guys out there. You know, you got guys like Bailey, Daniel Bailey. You got guys like them guys there. Most of these guys came out of my camp. But only thing in life right now, like I say, they got to be faithful. And whatever trainer they with right now, they need to stay with that trainer and finish their goal. I love to see a guy who came out of my camp make it to the top. Not even if he's not with me, I want to see him make it.
Right.
Because it's going to make me proud to know that somebody who I had affiliated with from kid became world champion. You know? I'm going to still feel good because I know he started with me and he's not out in the street doing wrong.
Amen. And another thing I wanted to say to you also is you're kind of like an old school, back in the day coach. You're the real deal. You don't take no shit for no one. You say things the way they are. What differentiates your way, the way you teach, from the old school to the teachers today or the trainers today?
Well, the old school training is more better than the new school training right now, because you have a lot of fighters out there right now, new school, they flashy, hands down, they're not thinking about, hey man, you have to go back up top with your hand, because remember, every boxer got two hands. Every boxer can punch. It don't have to be a good boxer to put you on that canvas. It could be somebody who ain't got experience, put you on that canvas. You understand? So you got to give these credit to these B-side fighters. If you train hard on the A side, you're supposed to box hard as the A side.
Right.
You understand me? So I wish every boxer can make it. All the kids who came out of my program and became pro fighters right now, I take my hat off to them. I hope they make it in life, and I hope they make it to be real champion. Like I said, you got to be loyal. If you're loyal to your trainer, you shall make it. There's nothing in this world can stop you from being champion but yourself.
And just to change the topic a little bit, I want to talk about some professional fights that are coming out, and I just wanted to get your opinion on them. The first one I'm going to ask you about, do you think there's anybody right now that can beat Canelo Alvarez right now? Anybody right now?
Well, I can tell you this. Alvarez is a good fighter, but you have a lot of other good fighters out there right now in this weight class that you never hear about. They never have a chance to fight guys like Alvarez right now.
Right.
But I think right now, the Charlo brothers, I think the Charlo brother give him a run for his money.
Okay. Go ahead. Also, another question I want to ask you, you've heard of the Tyson and Joshua fight coming up. Who would you take in that fight, and do you think that, who has the advantage in that fight?
Well, on that fight right there, I'll go with Tyson Fury on that fight.
What makes you call him out? Like, what makes you think he's going to be a difference?
Tyson Fury is really a legend boxer, because Tyson Fury, he know how to use his jab. The number one key is distinct and using that jab. Okay. Tyson Fury is the type of fighter, he calm, take his time, he pick you with the jab, set up that right hand to land this big long right hand. Right. And if Joshua run into that right hand, he might be in trouble. I give him maybe 6 rounds stoppage. Tyson Fury over him.
And another person I want to talk about that I grew up back in the 80s and 90s, and he was with Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Durant, Thomas Hitman Hearns, and you probably know who I'm talking about, the marvelous Marvin Hagler. What do you think about him, and what do you thought about him, his passing, and what he did for boxing?
Well, Hagler touched a lot of our heart in boxing. He touched a lot of people's heart because Hagler was a laid-back fighter, a guy who never changed trainer, never changed promoter, never changed manager. He was always 100. And a guy like that, that's why he was a good fighter, because he never had a problem where, oh, I want to switch trainer. He stayed with that trainer. Even if he made a mistake in life, the trainer stayed and cleared it up. If he had a problem with the trainer, he would tell the trainer exactly what he's trying to accomplish, and things worked out good for him.
Okay, and one more thing I want to ask you, one last thing I want to ask you. If you had any message to give to the boxing world about you, or any positive or any kind of message, what would you tell the boxing world?
Well, for all the boxers out there right now in boxing world, I want to send the credit to you guys. If you were man enough to get in that ring and show that you can box, and a man to go in there with a heart and fight any man with 2 hands just like you, I give all my credit to you, because many people do not go in no ring to take no punches. You gotta have a heart, you gotta have a mind. So I send my shout out to every fighter out there. I send my shout out to Mayweather. You know, I love Mayweather for the things he do for all the youth.
Right.
Davis, I like Davis. I like Lopez, Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, right.
I work with him a lot in the amateur down here in Miami. I take my hat off to his father, Junior.
Wow.
I respect everybody. Sean Porter, Aaron Spank. I respect all these guys, you know, Terrence Crawford and everybody. Because these guys, they really made boxing what it is right now. Because the old school boxers is not around no more, but the old school boxers have a lot of talent where they go and talk to these younger upcoming fighters and give them more opinion on boxing. So things is working the way it's supposed to work.
One last question I'm going to ask you is, and I meant to ask you is, with all these exhibition boxing, with all the old school, all the stars back in the day fighting, what do you feel about that? Do you think it's a plus for boxing, like Ray Jones, Tyson, James Toney, all the Evander Holyfield? How do you feel about that? Do you think it's a plus for boxing?
Well, the old school boxing right now with the exhibition, it's a good thing for people to see what's going on with these old school boxers. But it's a lot of old school boxers don't supposed to be doing the exhibition because some of them, they don't know what's going on right now.
Right.
They don't have the brain anymore. You have a couple guys out there who got the brain. They still can walk, they can talk. Some of these guys right now in the old school boxing with the exhibition, they punch drunk, man.
Mm-hmm.
They punch drunk, and I'm gonna tell you like it is. I'm gonna give it to them raw, blood raw. I ain't gonna hold it back. Some of them is punch drunk.
Right.
If you starting to stutter when you talk, you'll have a problem.
Right.
Don't get back in boxing, man. Be able to see your grandkids, be able to see your family,
right.
Be able not to be in a wheelchair, walking around and stuff can't move,
Right.
It's better off just put the money behind some young fighters and breed these young fighters and let the young fighters right now is taking over the boxing.
Right.
If you're 35 years old and older, you should be sitting down right now getting ready to raise your grandkids.
Right.
Not trying to go in the ring.
And use that knowledge that you've gained to give to somebody else.
Exactly. Because a lot of these old school boxers, they made money. Some of them never did anything with the money. But now, everybody want to do the exhibition and try to get some extra change back. But it's too late now, man.
Right. Right.
Money is not better than your life. My life is more better right now because
Amen.
I can go take exhibition fight too.
Amen.
But I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to let money put me in no casket early.
Amen. That's so true. Well, I want to thank you for being here with the Untouchable True School Sports Coach Ford, and we look forward to doing some more interviews with you. Thank you again for taking your time and giving us your knowledge in boxing. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.